character evidence is generally inadmissible. I figure since my character's been attacked and I've been defamed, but since y'all brought up character, I'm gonna tell you how I built my character. Florida bar is a terrible judge of character.
The bar calls itself a character and fitness gatekeeper. Let's test what that really means.
Y'all thought I was play pimping. That's what it is. It's been over 10 years since I graduated law school and passed the bar on my first try. And I've never practiced law. Why? I went to law school right after the military, used my GI Bill, graduated in 2 years, went round the clock, had a little girl to support.
I had to submit to random drug and alcohol screenings.
I was not going to submit to random drug and alcohol testing.
Even though I have never had a drug or alcohol related arrest on my record.
She went on to add that his 12 drug tests, they test for 12 different things, was negative on both occasions that it was done. They made me go do that too before I even got to this doctor. He should be monitored for drugs, but he passed the 2 prior drug tests we required him to take. Random drug tests. What?
Y'all have active lawyers with DUIs, cocaine cases, heroin possession, trafficking pills, even misappropriating $1 million+ of a client's trust account.
I had to learn my character by watching others. So I watched the psychopaths and sociopaths that I grew up with. My character was built out of pain, built out of fire, but it was cooled in love. And I studied leaders. I learned about character by watching theirs. I'm a black man in America, an intelligent black man in America who's never been arrested. Why would you think that I would submit to random drug and alcohol screenings? I am not on probation. No shade to anybody battling addictions, all right? This is just my story of how these labels have impacted my life in a negative way.
But me, I get told I have to live under suspicion and pee in a cup to prove I'm worthy, even though
I'm not a criminal, never have been. I studied leaders from our past, and I studied the leaders that I followed. I studied what they did, how they acted and behaved, and I took notes. Cat's hungry. Good morning, cactus. Say good morning. That's how I built my character, until I came across this magnificent tool that I'm about to share with you.
the great Benjamin Franklin devised a simple but powerful technique to help you make wise choices and improve your character and work on those things you want to build within yourself. I'll never forget that question.
Who else have I defrauded? Kidding me? One of my weaknesses is I am overly self-critical. That's the result of being traumatized and treated poorly as a child. But what I wanted to teach you is a method that Benjamin Franklin used to use, the great Benjamin Franklin.
Known in some circles as the father of personal development. Who else have you defrauded? I got asked that by the Florida Board of Bar Examiners during my character and fitness hearing.
You have low self-esteem, and you have to fight to get that back because nobody else builds it in you. I ain't never frauded nobody.
I remember how I responded too. I was hot.
I take offense to that.
So I wondered, where did you get that question? Who told you that I committed a fraud? And I responded that way.
And if you think I defrauded you, come see me. Stop hiding. Be a real man or woman and say what's on your mind. That's the problem. People don't know how to say what's on their mind. I've used this method a few times over the years.
For the first couple years, I only worked on one at a time, and I got a ton of black spots.
I think I did it for 2 years straight at one point.
Franklin was a man of great intellect, wit, and pragmatism. His inventions, writings, and political contributions all played a significant role in shaping the early United States.
Now, I come from a family of fraudsters, scammers, thieves, and liars. If their mouths are moving, they're lying.
Because I ain't never defrauded nobody.
Wait till I share with you how involved my family's been with my mental health and what they've gotten doctors to write. 2 years later, they decide to offer me conditional admittance.
During those 2 years, I had to continuously update the bar on where I was, what I was doing, where I was employed, why I was unemployed,
why I couldn't afford car insurance, and why I was still in poverty. Anything that changed in my life, and I did that.
I've never been arrested for drugs or alcohol.
If you're battling addiction, do not give up. Do not let it win. Keep fighting. You'll get through it. You show that monkey who's boss. If I've defrauded anybody, please tell me who and allow me to address them. They didn't respond. That was one of many stupid questions they asked me. You're literally becoming aware of those character traits that you want to build. A lot of people will tell you that they have this strong character, but if you just watch their actions, you'll see their character. Just like mine. You can listen to all the bullshit you probably heard about me, or you can just look at my character. You can look at the fruits of my labors.
It's called the black spot method, and it's very simple. First, you identify the habits, the traits, the abilities that you want to work on. Benjamin Franklin used 13, and here's a list of them. Why is your license suspended in Florida? Well, it's because I can't afford car insurance, because I can't get a job, because I don't have a bar license. Based on what I've looked at, my research. From 2017 to October 2025, I counted. They don't really stop criminals from becoming lawyers. About 70 lawyers were disciplined for fraud type conduct. That's stealing client money, lying to courts, forging documents, hiding assets, wire fraud, bank fraud, you name it. They don't really stop drug addicts from becoming lawyers. 15 lawyers were disciplined for drug-related offenses, including possession of cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, and even importing controlled substances. Or alcoholics. 17 Florida lawyers were disciplined for alcohol-related offenses like DUI and intoxication. Just based on what I can see. Now me, since then, I ain't had a single alcohol-related, drug-related incident, arrest, none of that. I had 0 DUI arrests, 0 drug arrests, no fraud cases, nothing of the sort. But they've admitted people who do. But I was told I could maybe get in if I agreed to random, humiliating drug and alcohol testing like I'm on probation. They still let people practice who are addicts. That's not character and fitness. That's stigma. That's bias. Because usually people only dog people's character out when they don't have enough evidence to prove what they want to try to prove. Then it's easier to say they're this way or they're that way, or they don't believe this or believe that. It gets the name black spot because it's a little mark or a point that you will put in that grid to symbolize how you failed to live up to that meaning or standard for that day. But I gotta piss in a cup randomly make me feel like I'm a criminal. I broke some kind of law. And no disrespect to my returning citizens. Sometimes you do what you gotta do. I understand that. Fortunately for myself, I've never had to do that, and I'm grateful for that. That's easy to do, especially when you ain't got no evidence. That's why character evidence is typically inadmissible, because you can't use it to prove something. You need to use facts. Once you've got your virtues, habits, or character traits that you want to work on, you'll begin working on them week by week. And they ain't got no facts. It's very simple. You would make a grid. I prefer paper. You can use a computer, and then printing it out to take it along with you throughout the day is super helpful. So I'll be damned as a black man who comes from where I come from and who's had to fight as hard as I've had to fight, that I would ever submit to random drug and alcohol screenings. No, I wanted to uphold it. I wanted to give justice to those that needed it. I didn't accept those terms. I chose my dignity, and I'm still here. Guess they don't like when you bring education to the masses, because while I was waiting those 2 years to get my bar license, I decided to teach people everything I learned in law school for anybody who couldn't afford to go to law school. Yeah, it requires some conscious effort, but man, you will start to see results after the first time you do it. Each day, you'll take inventory of your behavior within that category. You are literally monitoring your own behavior and how you interact in different situations to build the character that you want. So let's say you're working on your ability to be frugal. I can't get the record either. I can get a lot of records,
but they won't give me the transcript of the hearing. I had to go under oath to participate in their hearing for my character and fitness, but they won't give me the record. They won't tell me who they interviewed or who gave statements about me. You're supposed to be the bar. You're supposed to be the bar, the standard, and you can't even make good character decisions. You listen to lies and foolery, stupidity. Come on, man. What's wrong with y'all? Be aware that when you build this character up, when you build these qualities in you, be ready for the envy, the jealousy, and the hatred that comes along with it.
At the end of the day, you would examine your thoughts and your behaviors and what you did that day to find out if you were modeling frugality.
I mean, these are the people supposed to be handing out justice. There was definitely no King Solomon in the room. That's for sure. I know. Somebody told you a lie, and you can't be responsible for that. Let's make this clear. Somebody comes to tell you a lie, they already think you're a fool. Generally, the people that try to sully your name, they're only doing it because they can't meet you on your level. You have traits and qualities that they wish they possessed.
Anytime that we fail at frugality by our own standard, that's important. It's your standard. If we fail at our frugality, then we will get a black spot for that day.
It's not your homie. They already think you're a fool. Why they telling you a lie? Because they think you ain't gonna be smart enough to figure it out. They think you're a fool. You know what they said to me when I walked out of that hearing? I'm walking out thinking, I answered all the questions. I was honest. I was forthright. I didn't hide from nothing. I didn't sugarcoat a thing because I'm about to be a lawyer, right? Integrity. You gotta swear not to lie. This is bananas to me. I don't understand it, but this is how it goes. Rather than work on those character traits within themselves and get better and develop those character traits, they will go around and try to tear everybody else's character traits down.
We'll let it go. Forgiving yourself is part of the process. We'll examine why we got the black spot, and we know now what not to do tomorrow to avoid that black spot.
I can stand up and swear to defend my country, and I can maintain a secret security clearance against all enemies, foreign and domestic, working with aircraft that don't nobody know about. But I can't swear to uphold the law. That hurt. When I walked out, that clown, I remember him. I ain't gonna share his name though, but that clown had the nerve to say to me, "Thank you for your service." And trusted enough to support a mission for the Vice President of the United States, Dick Cheney. God rest his soul. They usually waste their time with me. A lot of people do. I don't know why they find it so necessary to try to attack me like they're gonna gain something, because ultimately they usually find out that they wasted their time.
Throughout that entire week, we're monitoring our frugality.
You know, like I know, you can't never get no time back. You can't get that back.
Using Ben Franklin's black spot method, over time, you will see positive changes. Also, don't forget to celebrate your successes.
Man, kiss my ass. You know nothing about service. Thank you for your service, but you got to submit to drug and alcohol testing, random, before we admit you to this bar. Of course I told him no. You can take your bar license and shove it. I'm no criminal.
Because the value I bring didn't come from the bar. It came from surviving and staying ethical.
Time is the most valuable resource we have.
And remember, it's okay to make mistakes. Making mistakes is how we learn and grow, and it's how we examine ourselves to know how we can improve for tomorrow.
But yet they will admit people who are drug addicts, who sell drugs, who traffic, alcoholics who drive drunk. They'll admit them. Now, I'm not dogging on nobody for a mistake. I get that. I made mistakes. I made plenty of mistakes. But gatekeeping because you think that I have a drug or alcohol problem because somebody told you that, because an alcoholic told you I have a drug or alcohol problem. The most valuable. It ain't the money. It ain't a car. It ain't a damn sure ain't no fame.
Acknowledging errors and learning from them, that's the black spot method, and it offers numerous benefits.
That's just foolish. That's just dumb. I mean, I would suspect a board of bar examiners to be wiser than that. The most valuable thing you have is time. And time is the great equalizer, because we're all equal when it comes to time. You know what I mean.
So take a page from Ben Franklin. Use the black spot method to enhance your life.
Dumbasses. You are enough, my friend. You have to remind yourself that you're enough, because this whole world wants to tell you you're not.